Hey, I'm Chris Dorsey, and I'm here with Brian Frederick-Gray, and we have another edition of Disciples Advocate Digest. So let's get started. What do we have first on the agenda, Brian?
You want to be able to lift up a new report that just came from our partners at the Southern Poverty Law Center. It's called The Perversion of Woke. The long shadow of American history drives attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion. In the report, they detail how modern anti-DEI statutes that are passing all over the country right now use these vague terms and language on purpose. And it's creating all of this widespread censorship, a whitewashing of history, as well as bans on discussions of race that then are bleeding into bans on discussion of gender and LGBTQIA plus identities as well.
It's actually pretty horrendous when you think about it, Brian. I know that the executive summary points out pretty clearly just how bad this is.
Yeah.
It says diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts aim to confront the legacy of exclusion in the U.S. and create policies that support those who have historically been marginalized, including people of color, LGBTQ plus individuals, people with disabilities, and women. But despite their intent to foster equity, these efforts have become lightning rods in an intensifying cultural and political battle to stamp out things that people just don't want. They don't want fairness. They don't want equity. They
That's
don't
right.
want people to have an opportunity to excel.
Particularly those words, diversity, equity, and inclusion, have become so weaponized in the political and culture wars that are happening right now. And I think about those words for us as disciples. You take them individually, diversity, equity, inclusion. Almost every communion, meditation, or welcome that I have offered at the table in my entire career has probably involved one of those words or one of those themes. Those are
Yeah.
sacred words for us as
Yeah.
disciples.
Next, they'll be going after words like compassion,
Yeah.
kindness. It's just almost antithetical to what we are as Christians. Now, I
Amen.
know the Southern Poverty Law Center is a trusted partner in this work, and
Right.
they were founded in 1971 in Montgomery, Alabama, as part of the Civil Rights Movement. They're known for their groundbreaking work in classifying hate groups and extremist organizations, and also for promoting tolerance and education programs. So they're a trusted partner that I think we can lean on. What are some
Yeah.
of the resources we have, Brian?
Yeah, you're going to find linked directly with this video, The Perversion of Woke, the long shadow of American history drives attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is worth your time and consideration. And then share it with a Sunday school class, share it with your elders, be able to find folks in the life of the congregation who can help lead into fuller conversations around this issue together, too.
Great. Thanks, Brian. When we talk about taking out words or
Yeah.
modifying things that we say or
Yeah.
censorship, I
Mhm.
cannot help but think about the book 1984.
Yeah.
If you're like me, you read it back in middle school or high school, and it's amazing to think that we're living in 2026
Yeah.
and 1984 as a book doesn't seem like fiction anymore. It actually
Right.
seems like it's a reflection on what we are headed into.
That's right.
There's one organization that is helping to
Yeah.
promote rights. What is that organization, Brian?
Yeah, this is a group called States at the Core. They are a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to strengthening democracy, and they really want to focus at the local level. This is something that a bunch of our great big national and international partners have been telling us that right now it's really important for us to have that local focus in everything that we're doing. And States at the Core is this network of community organizers that support grassroots and regional partners with strategic expertise and adaptable resources right there on the ground in your locality.
Yeah, one of the things that's really key is that whenever these large systems try to oppress and dominate people, they basically want you to feel isolated,
Yeah,
alone,
yeah,
overwhelmed, kind of
yeah.
like Winston. And this is a way to sort of push back and say, hey, we have rights. What else is it talking about, Brian?
Yeah, I really want to highlight the Ice Watch trainings that are a part of what states at the core have to offer. They have a whole slew of things that they do, but folks have been asking me the most lately for who are folks that we can trust when it comes to doing this Ice Watch. Some folks call it constitutional observer training, ways that we can, as citizens, affirm our rights, ways that we can be there to be able to report the sorts of things that are happening. States at the Core is a wonderful partner at creating resources so that folks will be able to do those sorts of things safely, securely, but also in ways that are going to be defending their neighbors, their communities.
Yeah. So, Brian, even as these wars go on around us and intensify, it's important for us to not lose sight of the fact that our rights as citizens are valuable, they're sacred to us, and we need to protect them. Are there any
Yes.
resources that you can point to?
Yeah, this one is literally titled Bookmark This Page. And so I hope folks will do that. It is from States at the Core Substack, which is a great follow if you're on Substack. It's pinned to the very top of it, and it is a resource that is constantly updating with the new trainings that they're going to be offering. So if you click through on the link, we'll have it linked to the video here. You'll find that not only are all of their webinars and trainings always free, but you'll find that they offer them over and over again. So if you
Oh,
happen
good.
to look at that resource and you don't see a date that works for you, just go back to it in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. There'll be more offerings, I promise.
Great, great. I think we got one more story, Brian. I'll let you kick that one off.
Yeah, that's right. This one comes from our friends at the Presbyterian Peace Fellowship. Shout out to the Presbyterian Peace Fellowship. We love you all in your work. And they are sponsoring a series of online action circles that are going to help churches get involved with their Guns to Gardens projects.
Yeah, guns is a very important topic, guns and gun violence. I used to teach a class called Theologizing Violence. And these books behind me, Brian, aren't just for show. They're actually most of the books that I used to teach
It's a
from.
nice backdrop too.
And I'm thinking there was a book. Oh, yeah, here it is. So one of the books that I used was America and Its Guns
Wow.
by James Atwood. So it's very appropriate. But I think this is a great program because Guns to Gardens sounds like it allows people to basically take the firearms that they're no longer using. It's not saying firearms should be just banned. It's just saying how can you take what you're no longer using and turn those, melt them down and refashion them into actual gardening tools. It's
Yep.
kind of like a modern day version of turning swords into plowshares, like Isaiah 2:4.
Yep, that's exactly right. My home church is Allisonville Christian Church, and they have decided to get involved with the Guns to Gardens program. I'm so proud of them. And this came
Shout out to Bo Underwood.
That's right. And Josh Jackson, Sarah Zuniga, love my pastors. And this came after the church was doing a series of listening sessions in the congregation that included youth in the church. And it was the youth who specifically named gun violence as a serious justice issue that concerns them the most. There's another disciples connection here too, though, Chris. So let's make sure that we're lifting up the Reverend Teresa Kim Pesanovsky, who's not only an ordained disciples pastor, chaplain in Minnesota, but she's also a children's book author.
Teresa is absolutely great. I've worked with her and had a chance to spend time with her and even talk through some of her other resources. Didn't you just do an article on her work on activism in Minneapolis and St. Paul?
Yeah, the Christian Century just did an interview with Teresa Kim that is wonderful. We just linked to that in our Disciples Advocate
Great.
email from this last month. Sparking Peace is the story that's about friendship, it's about healing, it's about peacemaking, and thematically at the core, it tells some of the story of Guns to Gardens and is a remarkable resource for folks who want to be able to talk to children, especially about gun violence.
Great. So what are those, just to summarize, what are those exact resources, Brian? You want to just list those off?
Yep, absolutely. Presbyterian Peace Fellowship has these cohort groups that are going to be starting later this month. You can sign up for daytime or evening sessions with those. A Christian Century article about Teresa Kim Pesanovsky is called Showing Up as Clergy in a Time of ICE Raids and Protests. And the book that we shouted out today was Sparking Peace.
Great, great. I think that's it for us for this edition, Brian. We'll be back again next week with more stories that are of interest and more stories that are compelling and more resources for you to engage. So thanks a lot.
Amen. Thanks, everybody. Blessings and peace.